Good Tuesday morning. It is the Real Monica Adams Show, brought to you by our friends at Invita Health and Wellness. We're in the beautiful Invita Health and Wellness studios, and every time we have a guest come in, we always love the fact that they say, "Oh, it smells so good in here." Yeah, this candle that we always burn, lighting up the room and making it smell amazing, just to give you a little positivity for the day. In fact, Michelle right now is posting some pictures and video for me, and we are going to show you the gorgeous sunrise. It is so stunning. 2 days in a row. I keep talking about the fact that if you wake up late, you miss that, but we will post that for you. I've got a little video for you, and we're talking about who I consider to be an angel literally walking on earth. I told this to her the very first time I met her, Dr. Dawnetta Woodruff, and she is with Pets at Rest. She's a veterinarian for a long time, but she's been providing pet hospice, that end of life that none of us want to experience, but it's a real thing. We've all been there, haven't we? We've done it with our dogs, our cats. You would wish that they would just go peacefully in their sleep, and that doesn't always happen. And unfortunately, we have to make that very difficult decision. I had to do it with my husband, with one of our dogs that we did not expect to do. In fact, she had hemangiosarcoma, incurable cancer, came out of the blue. It was one of the most difficult things because she was our baby of the 3 that we had at the time. So here we are having to make the decision for her, knowing that we have another one who's older that was going to probably be going from us very soon, and then another one that was near his end. So Kira and Nico were around 15 and 16 years of age at the time, and Kaylee was only 9. Boy, I tell you what, we're going to talk about that time, my own personal experience. Yeah, pet hospice, and that's one of the hardest things, this little shift in focus from extending life to improving quality of life for whatever time remains. Very difficult thing to go through, but she makes it so much easier, if I can say that, for you, for the family, for the kiddos. A lot of times people have tried to say, well, I don't want to make that decision, but then you have to. And they used to take them to a veterinary office, that cold office that no dog or cat likes to go to, all the different smells. They don't like being there. And imagine that that's where they end their life. All I ever knew as a kid, that's how it was done. Then there was an opportunity to do it at your home. That's what we were introduced to, and that's actually where I met Dr. Dawnetta Woodruff. But she's taken it a step further. She's offering something that does not exist by anybody else, and she's doing that at Pets at Rest. So we're going to talk with her today. But before we bring her in, I want to say congratulations to Wayno, Adam Wainwright, getting his 200th career win. And in fact, he got back-to-back start wins. So congratulations, the Cardinals winning 1-0. So in case you went to bed or you didn't get a chance to see it, congratulations to Adam. If you connect with him on social media, congratulate him on a big 200th career win last night. And then I also wanted to say to all of those that work at, or if you know someone that worked at U.S. Steel, understand from KMOX, they were the only ones I think that broke the story yesterday. U.S. Steel giving out pink slips today. I think there's 1,400 people that work at U.S. Steel in Granite City. So think about that. Think about the ripple effect. It's not just going to affect, and they're saying hopefully it'll be idle and it's going to be a temporary thing, that they're getting these pink slips and without any warning. I mean, you would hope they'd get a month or 2 months out to kind of ready themselves, ready their family. But because they're saying that they think this is a temporary thing, they're giving these pink slips out today. And not only is it going to affect U.S. Steel, of course, the U.S. auto strike is going on. So that's where they're saying that a lot of this is coming from. But it's going to affect the trucking industry, the railroad industry, but not just that. Think about the secondary businesses, the people going out to eat in the Granite City area, shopping at the small businesses. That's going to have that kind of effect. So we'll keep an eye on that story. Again, U.S. Steel, our thoughts and prayers going out to all those workers as they have this temporary idling of the plant. So a couple of things that I wanted to give you as news you could use. Also, if you want to know the weather, well, it's going to be about 87 today, but no humidity. So it should be a pretty day, but a little bit warmer. Tomorrow in the low 80s, and then the showers are reportedly coming in, maybe Thursday, Friday, maybe even a thunderstorm going into the weekend. So depending on what plans you have, and there's a lot going on, the Walk for the World that we're all going to be doing on Saturday morning, morning, 9 a.m. We would love to see you out at Central Park, which is in Chesterfield. You can go to walkforthe.world to register. It's free. You want to bring your earphones, your earbuds with your phone because it's a meditation walk. Pretty cool. I've never been involved in anything like that before. And we want to thank Kathy Kilo Peterson, one of our newest sponsors. She actually is the one that told us about this. So Kathy's going to be out there with a bunch of people. There's Kathy, State Farm agent extraordinaire, kkilo.com. You know, she got into the industry because she said there was a lack of true customer service in the industry. So besides her, she's got another 10 on her staff, and with the 11 of them, they make up over 80 years of service. She also is a big fan of dogs, and she has her dog Vinny in the office all the time, which I absolutely love. So if you need or you want a quote, get a free quote, and you can get a $25 gift card. They're doing that right now for your home, for your car, for supplemental insurance, whatever it is that you need for insurance. I want you to trust our friends, Kathy Kilo Peterson, and come out and meet her, by the way. You can talk to her this coming Saturday, 9 a.m. We're all going to meet at the pavilion right there at Central Park in Chesterfield at about 8:45 in the morning, and then do this beautiful 45-minute meditation walk together. That's Saturday morning, and then we're going to quickly flip around and get into our jeans and our boots. And the Equus Rescue Therapy Boots and Jeans Ball is taking place on Saturday night. Still, single tickets available. They're only $50 for the single tickets, or VIP tables are still available. And that's going to be out at the Equus Rescue Therapy, the stables. The horses will be there. We're going to have a dance floor. Everybody's dressed beautifully in their boots and their jeans, maybe their cowboy hats. And then we're going to be doing a live auction and a silent auction, raising money for the incredible work that they do for those horses. So we're actually going to get a chance to see Kathy again because, thank you, Kathy, she bought a VIP table, so she'll be out there. So again, two great events going on Saturday. There's a lot more that's obviously going on this weekend, but those are two that the Real Monica Adams team is involved with, and we would love to see you. So again, check out the links that Michelle always moderates and drops for you. And she told me that tomorrow is the wrap-up of the Riverfront Times, the best of in St. Louis, and she entered us in to the best local podcast, and we went from just everybody voting to then being in the top 5. So you have an opportunity to vote again today, and then probably one time tomorrow. You were able to vote every single day for this best of St. Louis local podcast. So if you want to go to that, she'll drop that for you as well. It's in the arts and entertainment category. So thank you, everybody that's been voting. We would love to see that hit #1 for a show that just kicked off with a dream back on March 1st. Okay, a lot of things to tell you about this morning. I hope you're having a great start to your day. And again, if you missed that sunrise, we'll be posting that for you so you get a chance to see just how gorgeous it was. I'm seeing it right now on our page. It's just absolutely stunning. All right, so we're going to bring our guest in. Let me see if anybody's been asking anything. Oh, the audio's on again. Good morning to Rose and Kathy. Oh, she said, Wayno won at home. Yes, I think it was meant to be. The fans were charged. That's what I heard. Good morning to Marilyn. Good morning to Bill as well. And then a bunch of those links that I mentioned that you need dropped in for you this morning. Okay, it is 7:08. We're going to take our break. And when we return, as I mentioned, Dr. Dawnetta Woodruff. Tell everybody that is a dog owner or a cat owner, they need to hear this show because as you are hoping that it never happens, you know it's a reality. Those little puppies and those little kittens that you get, they grow up. You hope you have a long, long life with them. But then suddenly you might have to make this difficult decision. Well, don't make it alone and don't do it alone. You'll get the whole family to be your support system all together in a beautiful, warm space to make everybody calm. Dr. Dawnetta Woodruff is going to tell us all about that. She'll be in the blue chair when we return. Envita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Envita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Envita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Envita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment or online envitahealthandwellness.com. Welcome back. It is the Real Monica Adams Show, 7:10 in the morning, and we are talking about our babies, our fur babies, cats, dogs, doesn't matter. They are incredible to our lives. I just cannot imagine a life without them. But at some point, if they don't go peacefully on their own, we have a very difficult decision to make. So I want you to text or call everyone that you know that has cats or dogs, because I want them to know about this. First of all, I didn't even know about the other option until Jim and I were faced with this gut-wrenching feeling of how is our baby suddenly going to be going in a matter of days, when we thought she was the one that we were going to bring forward with us in our dream home. So that was Kaylee. You remember I used to post about Kaylee and Kira and Nico and those big goofballs? Well, Kira was getting older, Nico was getting older, and we thought they might go on their own. They're 15, 16 years of age. But we thought for sure our little 9-year-old, our medium-sized 9-year-old was going to come with us. And suddenly we were stricken with the fact that she had incurable cancer out of nowhere. I remember dropping to my knees. It was the most gut-wrenching thing I was told. And then quickly realizing it was a big shock. Like, she's not going to go along with us, but what are we going to do? Well, I was handed a card for this beautiful woman that's sitting next to me. Let me introduce her, Dr. Dawnetta Woodruff. First of all, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
So good to see you again. She and I have talked over the years, though, and she always says, Monica, and she tried to get me to come out to the Canine Carnival. I wasn't able to, but I remember the last time we needed your services that you said, I want to see you in a different circumstance.
Yeah, on a good day.
That's right. Yes, but if there's a person that needs to enter into your life at this time, it's her. You've heard me say it over and over again that I think you are an angel walking on earth. You were meant to do this job.
Thank you.
So we're going to talk about this. As I mentioned, I've been there. A lot of people might not have ever even heard of Pet Hospice. You gave us a beautiful video of what is Pet Hospice. George, if you want, you want to play that, and then we'll talk a little bit more with Dr. Dawnetta, if you've got that ready. There you go. So look at this, folks. A lot of those pictures, Dawnetta, I took myself as well. Mm-hmm. You just want every little ounce of them at the end. Look at that.
A friend of mine sent me that photo, and it was just so perfect.
Euthanasia when the time comes. Yeah, you want them to pass in a peaceful, a dignified way. I mean, you think about just all of us as human beings. That's what we're talking about. Petsatrest.vet. Hospice and home euthanasia, and we'll give you all that information as well. But let's go back. First of all, you've been a veterinarian for how long?
18 years now.
18 years, but you've been doing pet hospice for how long?
11 years.
Yes, and then when I met you, we had gone to the emergency for Kaylee, and not knowing what was going on. In fact, one of the veterinarians said that she had pulled her back, and that's why she was wincing in pain, and thought she got better, and then she wasn't eating, took her back in, and ended up finding out, did not expect this at all, ended up finding out that she had incurable cancer. And so we literally went from thinking she's going to come with us and run around on our property to, I think it was a day or 2 days later that we had to make this decision. But I was handed your card, and I was handed 2 cards. And to me, I felt like it was a blessing that I made a call to both, and the one didn't answer, and you all did. Mm-hmm. And at that time, it was, Monica, just in case you want to consider this, that Dawnetta does come to your home. And all I kept thinking in my head was, well, I don't want to forever look at that spot. Yeah. You probably heard that forever in the 11 years. I don't want to look at that spot and think that's the last time I saw Kaylee or Kira or Nico or all of your cats and dogs. But you did that, and you had been doing that for the last 10
about
years?
10 years, yeah.
Until this spring.
Yep.
And so is this your brainchild? Do you come up with this idea? So tell us, so you transition. Are you still doing that, though, also, or this is all?
This is all it.
Okay.
Yep.
So no longer do you have to worry about taking your animals into, again, I've always said, they don't like to go to the vet. Nothing against you, but it's just the smells, and it's what happens. They get shots. They're not a big fan. And then they certainly don't want to end their life there. So then you had come up with the idea, or there's probably other people as well, but you had come up to where you did it in the home. I remember my decision at the time. I went back and forth talking to you all, and I thought, I can't do this. I can't, because it's not something I was ever faced with before.
Yeah.
And so, although I kept thinking, that's all I'm ever going to think, I'm going to go by that table and I'm going to remember that this is where it happened, I did get past that. But all of a sudden, when you had posted that you're doing this now, I thought, yes, that makes the most sense. So there were always 2 options.
Yep.
Now there's this beautiful 3rd option. So first of all, before you talk all about it, what made you come to this decision to offer this?
Hearing people say the same thing that you did, I think I want this to be somewhere other than the vet's office, and I guess home is my option. But a lot of times, people would call us and make the appointment, and then we would have them call us back and say, my son or my husband or my wife, they can't have that memory at home, so we're just going to go to the vet. It wasn't exactly what they wanted, but they just couldn't have that memory at home. And so I began to think that there had to be a third option, because there's a lot of different types of people out there, and some need their vet at their office. Right. Some need home, and some need something else, and that's what I'm so glad to be able to provide now.
Well, and again, you hope that you have found a veterinarian that you really connect with, that you, look at that beautiful picture, that you would say, well, it's okay, this veterinarian's been taking care of our babies forever, so it's okay that that's where we go for the end of life. But it's just, like I said, it's the smells and it's just the feel.
Yeah.
Not that every veterinarian's office is cold, but it's just not where you think they would want to be.
It has to be an office, and it has to be sanitary,
Yes.
to take good care of the animals and not spread disease. And because of that, it doesn't feel like a home.
Right.
And I don't see pets with contagious diseases and things like that. So it can feel more like a house, and people can just come there and feel like they're visiting a friend's house. And that's what people say when they walk in, and that's exactly what I was hoping for.
And you launched this in March.
In March.
And
yeah.
where is it located?
In Creve Coeur. It is 652 Decker Lane, and we're not far from Plaza Motors and Joya's Deli, and it's just a little house with a parking lot behind, and the families come in and they have the whole house to themselves, so it's very private, very quiet, and peaceful. That's what we hope to provide.
So you wanted to try to duplicate the home without
Yes.
it being the home.
Yep.
So you feel like you're walking into a family room or bedrooms, or wherever you maybe spent some time with your cats or dogs, and everyone is welcome there. If you want to bring the kids and other animals.
And other pets. We've had people bring other cats, other dogs, whole families, friends. We've got several different rooms, and one is small for small dogs and small groups of people. We have one specifically for cats, and this kind of shows you a little bit of what the place looks like. And in our cat room, we have pheromones that are helping them to feel more comfortable and relaxed. And then we have a big room for when you bring all the other pets and lots of people. And so, it gets to be what you need it to be on that day.
So again, and we're just looking at it right now. So you've got a feline room, and then you have a canine room.
Yep.
And I love that. So you have the smells, you have the warmth of a home, and without it being at the home.
That's
so
right.
We're taking a little a walkthrough of Pets at Rest Hospice, again in Creve Coeur, Missouri, that just opened up back in the spring. So give us some of the feedback that you've heard from people who have taken advantage of the services.
So it's just really been a blessing to hear what people have said to me, because I've had a few people that I helped them in their home, and then, they sought me out to help them again. And a couple of them said, I didn't really know if I would like this option because it's not my house. But after they've been there, they have said they enjoyed it even more than being at home, for exactly the reason you said. And people will say, like, I don't know how to say this, but you made it good by us being here. And I'm like, it's not ever going to be easy. No. But it can be beautiful to celebrate their life and to talk about the beautiful memories, to feed them good food, and just to snuggle with them. And I give good pain meds so they are peaceful, and you get to see them really comfortable. And that is beautiful.
Yeah, if you have any questions, by the way, I am going to keep an eye on our comments. For all of you that are maybe going through that right now, you didn't know about this, that's really why I wanted to bring Dawnetta on, is to say this is an option. I mean, I'm going to go all the way back, and no fault whatsoever to our parents, but one of the very first decisions we ever had to make was when we were younger kids, and it was our dog Cookie, and she was 19. First of all, what an incredible
goodness.
life, right?
Yeah,
Just
that's
a little
amazing.
Chihuahua Terrier mix. 19 years old at the end, she had gotten blind, and we see them, they're getting really feeble, they're not walking, and you're just hoping that they go on their own. And finally we got to a point like, this is not a good life for her anymore.
Yeah.
and took her to, I believe the APA back then, I believe. But I remember all of us crying in the parking lot, and it's that gut-wrenching feeling.
Yep.
And then walking in, and then the people are there like, okay, is everything okay? And we're like, this is it? And I just remember my mom handing her over, and I just couldn't stop staring at whoever that was that walked away with her.
Yep.
My thought as a kid was, she doesn't even know who she's with.
Yeah.
The very last breath and moments of their life shouldn't be with a stranger.
Yep.
Or someone that they only see here and there when they're getting shots, etc. So that always somehow it stayed with me. And then we had, other dogs throughout the years, and I had to do it. So I guess the next time I had to do it was actually at a animal hospital.
Yeah.
And suddenly that was Aussie, and she had a brain tumor. So I at least knew that I wanted to be by our side, but I wasn't prepared. And this is the thing that I want to thank you for. And everybody, please listen to this. Nothing against and I'll know it doesn't matter where the animal hospital was, nothing against them, but I wasn't prepared because to me, you go from an experience of handing the dog off.
Yes.
To me knowing no. I knew I wanted to be by her side. So I'm the last person that she smells and feels next to her. And then all of a sudden they came in to administer what you administer, and she was gone. And I expected it to be a little bit longer, and I went, oh, and it felt like somebody was just stabbing me in the heart, and I go, she's gone already? I wasn't ready. And they're like, oh, well, we told you we were, and I said, well, I don't understand that.
Right, because you've never been in that situation before.
So can you walk us through that? Because you wouldn't ever do anything like that. It is, and I know my own experience, which I'll share, but tell us in those final moments what you do.
So I know that there's a beautiful quote, and I won't say it exactly, but Maya Angelou has a quote that says, do good until you know better, and then do better. And I live by that. Whenever my graduation from vet school happened, no one taught me much about euthanasia at that time. It was something we had to do, but we didn't get a lot of teaching about it. And so we did exactly what you said. The first few years I was a vet, that's what we did. And for the pet, it is kind. It allows them to have anesthesia and pass quickly under anesthesia. But for their family, it's so sudden, and it just is very gut-wrenching. And so as I learned to do better, I began to use sedation. And so we give a great cocktail of medicine. It has anti-anxiety medicine, pain medicine, and sedatives. And so when I give that, it takes about 5 or 10 minutes, and they feel relaxed. You can see them take those big breaths that they've kind of had a hard time doing because of pain or stress, and they sleep and they feel good, and the family can sit and visit with them for a while until we're ready to give that final medicine.
And Dawnetta, this is where I'm going to, and this is where I felt in the very beginning that she was an angel, because when you had to do this with us, with Kaylee, it was, oh, you just gave me a chill. Are you ready? Letting me know it's coming. And she's going, she walked us through it to say, these are going to be her last breaths. Woo, you're taking me back to that day.
No, it feels just like it just happened.
Gosh, dang it. Didn't expect that. Woo. So I remember hugging her, and it was such a beautiful day, and then all of a sudden it rained. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
And I thought, oh my gosh, and I just remember, because this was our first experience with you coming to the home, I just remember looking at her going, I cannot believe this is going to be it. And I couldn't stop staring at her, in the front yard. I went and actually, we had bought one of the things where you put their paw prints in it.
That's
before
right.
You had come.
Yes.
Remember that? And then we took her into the garage and we did that, and I took a picture of my hand next to hers, which is what you do. And I was trying to get all those. I'm like, Jim, document. And all of a sudden, I remember seeing your car. I'm like, she's coming. You got to hurry up and do it because remember, I felt rushed before.
Yes.
So all of my experience was rushed. She's going to be gone in seconds. And then it was all so very different and all so beautiful. See, now the tears go away because this is not the experience that I expected. This is 10 times better. And if this can be a beautiful thing, it was a beautiful thing.
I'm so glad.
If that makes sense to everybody. I just remember going through it with her. We made sure she was comfortable. We took her favorite toy.
Yeah.
And we took a shirt of ours because I wanted her to have the scent of us right next to her. And then you were just amazing on how it happened. It was a very rough year, by the way, or should I say 9 months, because we saw you three times in 9 months.
Yep.
3 times in 9 months.
Again and again.
And you were like, not again, not again, not again. But each time we did those at home.
Yep.
We transferred from the office to the home, But now, and I literally looked at my dog today and said, no time soon. You're going to be around for a long time. You're not going to meet her for a while unless we can get out to the Canine Carnival. So we're talking again about Pets at Rest. And let me know if you have any questions. If you've been there, share some stories of what you've been through and now have the realization that you don't have to go through that anymore. I cannot say it enough. And I've had a lot of people that I've sent to you over the years that have reached out to me from when I used to talk about it because they could genuinely feel that it was a beautiful end of life.
Yep.
And I know we never want it to come, but it's going to happen. It's a realization. And it's not always going to be the perfect, like a movie. Oh, they just go in their sleep.
And we wish it was.
No, I do. Because you don't want to be faced with making that decision.
Yep.
Dr. Dawnetta Woodruff, more about Pets at Rest when we return.
It's the icing on the cake.
The final brush stroke.
The finishing touches make all the difference in your home, too.
Have fun and get started at carolhouse.com/room planner.
With thousands of accessories in our 3.5-acre showrooms.
Get your picture perfect room and the lowest prices in the country at Carol House.
Because you like nice things.
You know, of course, it's great to get outside and enjoy the warm weather, but when it's time to relax indoors, be sure your home stays cool with equipment and service from my friends at Aldon. 24-hour emergency service available. At Aldon, it's their commitment to continue providing above and beyond HVAC service for all of their customers. They truly care about the air you breathe. Call them today at 314-567-5585 or on the web, aldon.com. That's al-don.com, 314-567-5585. Welcome back. It is 7:27, and some of you are making comments, so let me put my glasses on. I need glasses now. Someone said that this is a great idea. That's from Rose. From a vet tech of many years, this is so needed. Thank you, Dawnetta, for doing this for fur babies and their humans. That's from Missy Donner.
Wonderful.
These are not just animals. These are our kids, absolutely. Yes. Part of our family. They've given us so much love. What a tribute to do for them at the end and for us. Yeah, so if you're just tuning in, we're talking with Dr. Dawnetta Woodruff, and we're talking about the business Pets at Rest, which she started back in the spring. I was just sharing the story of what we went through with Kaylee, and then I remember you coming over to my mom's, because we had a transition before we bought our house, to Kira. Now, here's the thing. I just couldn't. I could not hand her over. She was my first baby, right? So we had our dogs of the family, but she was my first baby, and she had lived to 16. She had a beautiful life, but I just remember walking around my mom's house, and I just kept telling Jim, I need some time. You don't understand. Like, so the person who just said these are our babies, they are. I wasn't blessed with children. These are my children, and that's what they feel like.
Yes,
right. I wish they could talk.
They are children who never grow up and move out.
Exactly. But I just remember you coming over, same thing, walking me through. It was a beautiful thing. But I remember you wrapping her up in a blanket and putting her in a basket, and you were like, see? She's sleeping now in heaven. Yeah. She's up at the Rainbow Bridge. One of the things that you do that I think is so beautiful, and I asked Jim, I go, can I bring these in? He goes, no, I don't want you breaking them. You do the paw prints.
We do.
And if someone needs and wants, you have a partnership for the cremation. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about that.
Memorial items are so important. I don't know if you can see, but I actually wear 2 of my dog's paw prints on my necklace.
Oh, I love that.
One was a gift from a friend, and then I purchased the other one. And there's a lot of different things like this, and you have to have like a picture of their paw or a paw print to do those things if you want to. Or like a nose. Some people want a photograph of the nose or a nose print. Some people want a little bit of fur. And so we do those things. And now that I have a location, a place, we're able to do a few extra memorial items for families that I couldn't do in the home. We'll take a little bit of their fur and put it in a little bit of resin so that the family can, have that to like tuck in their pocket or carry in their purse, to have those things, just a little bit of them to keep close to your heart. Mm-hmm. And eases a little bit of the pain.
You also, I was reading, you do a recording of their heartbeat.
I can, yes. Not everybody wants that. It's very personal, and some people it would be difficult, but for others, it's exactly what they need. And so if the family requests it, I have a special stethoscope that allows me to do a recording of the heartbeat. And one that I just loved, this little dog was known to be a big snorer, and the noises that came from this dog, you would have thought it was a 100-pound dog, and he was like, this big. And so the family, we got a recording of the heartbeat, and it picked up the snoring too, and so you could hear all of it, and it was perfect for them.
Yes.
And I think sometimes those things are hard to listen to, but to know you have it there when you need it is a little comfort.
Absolutely. Again, Pets at Rest, and we're going to give you the web address, the phone number, and that's one of the things that happened over the years. She had met me when I was in television, both at Fox. There you go, petsatrest.vet, and it's 314-334-8010, hospice and home euthanasia. Dr. Dawnetta and I met when I was at Channel 2 and then at Channel 5, and we had talked about just, again, how difficult this is, and I would talk about it. I would post about it, and people would write me, and it's, again, I want you hopefully don't need it right now, but I want you to remember it when you need it, that you say, wait a minute, Monica did this wonderful show with this beautiful angel walking on earth, and we need that time. And that's what would happen to me before, is that people would reach out to me a year later.
Yep.
I remember you talking about something, but at that time it was in your own home. Now it's this opportunity to take it out of the home. So for anybody that's never been through that, they've been lucky enough that their cat or their dog has gone on its own. Let's walk them through the process, because it may not be, and that's one of the things that you talk about on your website, it may not be an immediate, they may be there for a while.
Yeah. We want them to go to sleep and pass, right? To just kind of have that drift away experience. And that's what I allow them to do with medicine, because naturally passing, it's very rarely something that happens quickly. It can be days or even a week of time spent just kind of fading. And that's hard for the pet, and it's hard for the family to watch that and to not know, can I go sleep and they'll be okay? Can I go to the grocery store? Can I go to work? And, here my pet is struggling. And so allowing them to have an escape from those struggles when there's nothing else we can do to fix it. We can't stop death from happening. It's going to. And when we know that there's no other reasonable options, then we can allow them to have an escape from those final struggles and the hard stuff that's ahead of them.
How many people besides yourself work there?
It's myself, and then I have 2 full-time veterinary technicians and 1 very part-time vet tech. So it's just myself as the only doctor, and there may come a time when there's more than just me, but for now, if you call and speak with us, it's either myself, Becky, or Susie, occasionally Debbie.
And again, not to say that I don't think anybody else would be good and great like she is, but I was hoping that you were the one, because I want them to experience it with you. Again, as I said, I hope you all have wonderful veterinarians, but there's a difference in this woman, and I cannot say that enough. And Jim said to tell you hi, by the way. Jim agrees that, and he has, by the way, said, he grew up, and yes, they had dogs, but nothing that he ever really connected to say was his. Tessa is his baby, and he is forever. He will look at her and say, this one. And I said, I know. Now you'll understand how Kira was hard for me. Kaylee was hard for us. Nico was hard. All of them. We now have 3 again.
Oh, you do?
We have
That's
another
awesome.
Sheba that we rescued. Yes. But it's, once you have that kind of connection, you don't ever want to imagine it. And he says that she's so hard on her body by the way she runs around. Yeah. She's an Australian cattle dog and a little bit of shepherd and collie. Oh my gosh. The most active dog, and those of you that have seen the pictures and video of Tessa, she's crazy. Go, but she's hard on her body. So now you can hear her when she goes to get up, ugh, and he goes, no, none of that. You can't show signs of getting older. I'm like, she's only 6, but she runs hard. So yes, we don't want to think of them having to go at their end. So let's talk about that. How difficult, I mean, you've been a veterinarian for 18 years, but for the last 11 years doing hospice and now doing this in this beautiful setting. But how difficult is it for you? I mean, you're at the end of life for all of these babies.
Yeah. It is very different than I would have imagined. If someone would have told me 18 years ago when I graduated, like, someday you'll be a hospice veterinarian, I would have just kind of shrugged it off and went, no, there's no way. That's the hardest part. But if it felt for me every time I help a family the same way it does for my own babies, I could never do it. I have to be able to look at the situation and know, okay, this dog is hurting. This cat is really struggling, and I get to help relieve that. And so I have to focus on it that way and know that this family is going to go through a hard time, and I get to make that a little better. And that's really what carries me through the days, because there are some that are extra hard. If there's one that, their story reminds me of my own, or they look a lot like my own, man, those are the hard ones where it just kind of catches you off guard, like you just recently, just right now talking and imagining that place again. Like, there's certain things that it just kind of reminds you of something.
Right.
And those are the really, really hard ones.
But I guess the transfer of the feeling is knowing what you're providing. Because
That's right.
when we had the experience with you, I remember saying to you, wow, if this could be beautiful, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
But never did I expect that, because it's what I remembered in the past.
Yep.
Handing the dog over. And I don't want you to, again, because this exists, I don't want you to ever think you have to do that again. You don't have to. Now you have this opportunity to have a beautiful setting. Bring the family along, bring the other animals
Yep.
along, because it's what they knew.
Yep.
They want the family unit back together.
They do. And, kids, a lot of people are like, I don't know if I should bring my kids or not. And because we have several different rooms in the house, kids can be in there the whole time if they want to be, or they can step out. We've got an extra little space that has some toys for kids, coloring books if they're young, or just a space for someone to kind of sit and be. And sometimes, adult family members, they need a minute to just kind of step away and take a breath. And so you can be in that room from start to finish, or you can step away if you need to. You bring your family, you bring your other pets, and they can be there if they need to be. But they can step away too, because, there was a time or two where the other dog, you could just tell they needed some space. And so my vet tech who's there, okay, I'll take your other one. We'll go explore the house, and let the family really focus on the pet that they're there to love and support. And we just try to do what each family needs and roll with it, because we don't know what's going to happen till that moment.
Right. You brought up a good point, and I think this has to do with human life and animals. Parents, ultimately it's your child, so you have to make the decision. But parents, I think, often want to shield their children from experiencing that.
Yep.
Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, at some point they're going to have to realize that it's a reality.
Yes.
So how would you suggest that parents help their kids to understand that? Because that fur baby's not going to be there anymore. So you would think they'd want to be there to say goodbye.
Yeah, I really encourage people to be honest and open with their kids. After a certain age, a 2-year-old's not going to understand.
Right.
But families, the parents know their kids, and so you talk to them at an age appropriate level and tell them what's happening, and let them choose if they want to be there, because some of them have very strong feelings one way or the other, and you'd be surprised how young kids have very strong feelings, and some of them are like, no, I need to be there. And listen to that, and then if it changes, we can make adjustments, right? But and other kids will say, I want to feed a special meal, or I want to do a special thing with them, try to take them for a wagon ride, or whatever it is that's important to that child. Sometimes the kids say, I don't want to be there, but I'm going to draw a picture, I'm going to write a letter, and I'm going to send that with you. And so allowing them to be involved in a way that they are comfortable with allows that grieving to start and that closure to begin to happen.
Yeah, the last meal we gave Nico was a filet mignon.
I love that.
I'm like, here, buddy. And he still had the appetite to the very end. I think that's a hard thing sometimes. Don't you agree that people will say, but they've got a great appetite.
Yep.
And then they want to talk themselves out of it.
That's right. Our brain wants to focus on the logical part and say, I know that this is okay, and we can do this. It's a kindness to them. And our heart wants to hold on to every single positive thing that's happening and say, it's not time yet. Because the heart and the brain are just not on the same page. And I think that's very normal. And I tell people, don't expect your heart to be ready, because it's not going to be. And your brain will get to the point where you're as ready as you're ever going to be. And And that's when we need to move forward, because it's not something the heart is ever going to feel okay with.
No, once again, if you're just tuning in, this is Dr. Dawnetta Woodruff. We're talking about her new business that she launched back in March, Pets at Rest. It's petsatrest.vet. And again, we're talking about what is Pet Hospice, because a lot of you have never, hopefully, had to go through it. Maybe you've, again, been blessed, and I do mean blessed, that the dog or the cat has just gone on its own. But I think sometimes, as you just mentioned, Dawnetta, that we hang on a little too long. Like Jim's actually looked back and he's like, don't you think that maybe Kira, and I said, no, you have to make the decision when you're ready.
Yep.
And I said, I wasn't ready. You have to understand, he has 2 sons. I don't have children. So for me, it was, this is my first child that I'm going to have to say goodbye to. But do you think sometimes people need a kind of a support system to say, you really do need to think about this, because they're in pain, or they're running into things, they're blind, they're so feeble they can barely walk, but sometimes it's not easy to make that decision on your own.
Right, and sometimes you're the one who's seeing your pet day in and day out, right? And so you may not notice the subtle changes until they become dramatic. Whereas someone else who maybe visits your house once every couple weeks, they come and they see what's going on today, and they come back next week and they see a huge change. And you might not have noticed it because it was gradual over the days. Right. And so family, trusted friends are important to kind of let them in and allow them to tell you what they're seeing. And that's part of why I do the hospice part of my business too, because sometimes people don't have a family member or a trusted friend that they feel can help them through that. And so I'll do a tele-advice if people just need to talk. We can chat by video or by phone for half an hour, 45 minutes about what's going on and what they're seeing and what they should expect, right? Because we don't always know. Vets do a great job of explaining things, but when we are in that moment of, I just got this diagnosis and, oh my goodness, now I'm looking at a shortened lifespan, and the brain doesn't hold on to things, and you might have had a wonderful explanation given to you, but you don't remember it. And so that's where I come in to say, okay, this is what you should expect, and these are the things that could happen. Let's prepare for them. If the family wants me to be able to administer treatments, medications, prescribe things like pain meds, then we do an in-person hospice visit where I can physically look at the animal, see what's going on, let the family know what I'm seeing, and try to keep them comfortable for as long as we can.
Yeah, and that kindness, I mean, that's the one thing. People talk about bedside manners of a doctor. That's what I felt in you, is that you had this kindness. It is, what can I answer for you? And let me walk you through what this experience is going to look like. And I know this is difficult. And if you're not ready, and in fact, we had talked about doing it, I think, with Kaylee the day before, and I said, I'm not ready. That's right. I need another day. In fact, I remember that night, and knowing that we were going to be doing it, or I don't think we had made a decision yet. You said, I do have this open if you want. That's what it was. Yep. I remember almost like falling off of my bed, wanting to hold on to her paw, just in case she went. And I kept trying to say, you can go. If you do this. And when I woke up, I looked, I said, I think she's gone. And all of a sudden she opened her eyes. Like, no, I'm not. Mom, I'm right here.
She's like, I'm here.
I was like, oh, I thought you went. That was going to be hard, but now I got to make this decision. We're going to take a break. Again, if you have any questions, I'm going to look at your comments. We're talking with Dr. Dawnetta Woodruff, petsatrest.vet. And when it comes time, and again, it may not be now, but I want you to take this information down, because when it is that time, this is the way to do it. And I mean that. I've never, ever thought that the experience would be a beautiful thing, but it truly was. And right there, as you walk into our home, right up against our fireplace, on one of the floating shelves that my husband made, are 3 beautiful paw prints with the boxes that they're in. And I don't want to keep adding shelves, because I want some more life out of the babies we have. But yes, when it comes to that time. If you have any questions, we're going to look at the comments. Any questions, kind of a little Ask the Vet here in our last 15 minutes, let us know. We'll have more with Dr. Dawnetta Woodruff when we return. Hi, it's Monica Adams, and I just want to say thank you so much for following along since we launched The Real Monica Adams Show back in March. But I wanted to let you know there's so much more that our team can do for you. From styling, to emceeing, to life coaching, to personal training, motivational speaking all around the world. If you have a company, a corporation, a business that would like to book us, email me, info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com. Let's change lives together in person. Info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com.
Go through and answer some of them later.
Welcome back. It is 7:44, and we're visiting with Dr. Dawnetta Woodruff. Again, I couldn't wait to bring her in because she's just done so much for our family and what we've had to go through for 3 of our dogs. Again, we lost 3 dogs in a 9-month time period. So we got to know her very, very well, and we always joked of no more. I love you to death, but stop coming to my house with this. Let's see you in better times. So a lot of you are writing in and either commenting or making some comments about things you've gone through. Someone said, I love this option. I just recently had to put my dog down, and I tried to get someone to come to my home. The hours were not the best options. I had a tough time finding someone on the weekends. So now you don't have to. Now you don't have to bring them into your home. So someone said, I didn't even know about this. So does Dr. D assess and exam pets? My dog Lily is 14 and has many changes happening.
Yep.
Starting to get blind, death, seizures, losing balance, has good days and bad, sleeps most days. Her bathroom activities are still normal. I just wouldn't know when it is time. See, we just talked about it.
Yeah.
We've taken a pet to vet before, and the decision was that day to euthanize, which was a shock. How do I know when? That's a good question.
It is a good question, and it's very hard because there's not a cut and dry, easy answer. It's not black and white. And I think a lot of times we look for that. And on our website, we have a quality of life section that has some tools and some articles and just some things to help with that decision. So sometimes people aren't quite ready to reach out yet. Mm-hmm. They need to do some looking and some reading and just some thinking, and those resources help them do that. Am I seeing changes with the eating and the mobility? Can they still potty the way they need to? If they don't, can I keep them clean, or are they resenting that? Mm-hmm. All of those things are there. And then, yeah, absolutely, I do just exactly what they mentioned, which is an evaluation and say, okay, these are the challenges that I'm seeing. These are the ways we can maybe manage them for a little while. Mm-hmm. And we don't know if that management would happen for a few days, a couple weeks, a couple months. Every pet's a little different, and everybody comes to me at a little different time.
Sure. Yeah, Terry, I know, had been talking. So Terry is one of my clients that I personal train, and she's been talking about her dog. So Terry, I highly recommend that you reach out. George was going to put the information again on the screen for the phone number and the website. There you go, petsatrest.vet. 314-334-8010. Terry, I would highly recommend that you reach out to Dr. Dawnetta and her staff. Chris says, this is so beautiful. Thank you for doing this. I have a paw print from my beautiful Pebbles and wish I had from other dogs. It does make me feel like I still have her with me.
Yeah.
Chrissy says this is beautiful. Rose said, I like the idea of bringing other pets. Yes. My dog was sad. Yes. My dog was sad when my best friend's dog was sick and passed away. She was her best friend. You have to remember that, and I'm glad that we brought that up. I always got chills. So I always feel that when I get those chills, it's God or my dad saying,
right.
say that. Because that's their best friend. That's their sister or brother that they feel like, hello, where are they?
What happened?
And they mourn, right?
Yep. And I think they understand in their own way. There's been countless times where a pet who is healthy, young, healthy and older, it doesn't matter, they are looking at the situation that's happening, and they do something to let us know that they're understanding absolutely what's going on. One very beautiful moment, I actually happened to have the stethoscope listening to the pet, so I heard as the heartbeat stopped, and right as it did, the brother dog came over, kind of nosed the sister, and walked to another part of the house. And it's just amazing. Like, we don't fully understand all the things that animals know and experience and understand. And, it may be heartbeat, it may be pheromones, so many things that we just don't know, but they pick up on it, they get it. And sometimes it's as simple as, I wasn't able maybe to have my other pets there, but we kept the bed that smells like the deceased one around, or the collar, and allowing them to realize, okay, the smell's still kind of here, but with time it fades. Those are things that help the other pets in the house, because we can't just sit and talk to them and say, okay, this is what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you, that's a really good point, by the way. I'll look at some of the other comments. How would you recommend, in your 18 years of being a veterinarian, to help the other ones along after? Because it's, as a lot of people are saying, just for us humans who understand.
Yes.
It's a shock for an adult.
Yeah.
So then we talk to kids, as you said, a 2-year-old's not going to really understand,
Right.
right? So we try to help the children along. They're going to cry, they're going to mourn and go through all the emotions that we do, but we're able to actually verbally talk and
Yes.
they understand to some extent depending on how old they are. But for an animal, how do you recommend with that transition, because it probably is maybe going to take days or weeks?
It can, some animals just never miss a beat. They continue on like nothing changed. Especially the ones that are really super bonded to the people and maybe not as bonded to their buddy in the house. But oftentimes it is a process, and keeping their routine kind of as similar to what it has been as you can, but adding in more of their special favorite things. So if that's snuggling on the couch with you, you make extra time for that. If that is throwing a ball in the backyard, or sometimes people will tell me like, okay, we used to go on walks all the time, but our older dog couldn't go, and so we haven't been doing them as much, right? Because it just hasn't been easy. And so now this dog is still very able, and so we'll start going on those walks again. And it is just finding those things, keeping routine consistent, keeping feeding times consistent, adding in extra special, wonderful things that they're going to enjoy, and then also the smells. I think that's a big part of it. If you look and see that your pet is gravitating towards places where that smell is lingering, leave those beds, leave the clothing that they might have slept on, leave their kennel. But if you notice that, okay, this is a space where my departed one spent a lot of time, and now the other pets are like actively avoiding that area, then it's time to go ahead and move those things to put them away, because they're telling you it's time.
Yeah, and and we have to make those decisions. We don't want to go on in life without our loved ones, humans and our fur babies, but we have to, and they would want us to. The other thing, my brother and my sister-in-law went through this when they had just gotten married in their early 20s, and their 7-year-old dog had cancer. So you're not expecting it at that age,
not.
right? And so from that moment on, he's never been able to get another dog. It affected him so much. He also went back to our young years. Our 3-year-old used to jump the fence. The veterinarian believed that she was poisoned by a neighbor that was frustrated that she was like maybe getting into something.
Yep.
And so I think there's two very traumatic things that happen.
Yep.
And he's asked me over the years, Monica, I don't understand how you can get another one. He's like, how can you do that? He feels it's an unnecessary pain because he says that they don't live long enough. And I said, but there's so many that need our love that I have to do it.
Yes.
And I also can't imagine coming into a home without their energy. They're just big goofballs.
Yes, and I think that's a big part of it. People will ask me, when should I get another one, or should I get another one? And that is something that is going to be different every single time. For our family, there's been times where, we waited 2 years. And there's been times where it was 3 or 4 days. And so I think you're never going to know till you go through it, because the time that we didn't wait very long, we had one dog left at home, and that was so hard for all of us, especially the dog left at home. They were a pack,
right?
And now I'm by myself, and it was really hard for all of us. And so we said, okay, let's go look and see if there's any rescue pups out there. And we brought Ellie home, and and that really, really was just uplifting for all of us. And so sometimes you may wait 5-10 years or never, and other times you may wait 5 or 10 days, and it's all right.
Absolutely, it's all right, because you're not replacing them.
No.
I think that's what a lot of people always felt is, are they going to feel like I'm forgetting them? Oh my gosh, never. In fact, I look at Adelaide a lot, and I said, Kira sent you.
Yes.
I swear.
And I believe our pets love us so much. They are able to sense our intentions, right? Because people will say, like, I hope my pet knows that I'm doing this because I love her. And I'm like, listen, animals know good and bad people, right? How many times do we hear that? Animals sense cancer in people. Like, they pick up on things, and I think they know our intention. And they know that we're doing things out of love. And I think they would want us to share that love with another pet that needs it, so that we have the companionship, and so that that other pet has a great, wonderful life that they might not have without us.
Well, and it's amazing, because I remember when you came over with Nico, and you met Tessa.
I did.
She was just a puppy.
Little.
She was 12 weeks old maybe at the time. But I remember at the time, and this is something that when Jim watches this show, remember this, honey, because he was like, okay, we don't need to get another dog. And I said, well, this is before we knew we were going to have to put Nico down. I was like, but but he's older. He's by himself suddenly after having two others
Yes.
around. And maybe it'll bring a little energy out of him to have this little puppy. Or he'll be an angry old man and he'll be like, get this young
And
baby
you never
out
know.
of here. Right. But it was cute to kind of watch. And the last picture we took before you came over that day, Tessa went and laid down next to him and laid her head
It's
on him.
amazing.
Yes, it was a beautiful bond between the
And
two of
she
them.
was so little.
Yes.
And
yes.
she knew it.
She knew. And,
Yeah.
and they really do. I say sometimes, I swear we don't deserve them. They're incredible.
I totally feel that, because they just, they know whenever you need joy and excitement, you're excited about something and they want to party, but if you come in and you're you've had a rough day, they're going to come and sit and snuggle with you, and they pick up on things so much, and that's why I believe that they would be listen, if you're ready, you go ahead, love another one, bring them into the family. I think it's an honor. It's a tribute to the legacy of love that you had with your previous pet to say, I want to share that with another one.
What a beautiful way to say it. It's very, very true. And there are so many that need your love. And again, but as Dawnetta and I both said, you have to make that decision on your own. Nobody can tell you when it's time. Your heart will tell you when it's time. And it might be difficult in the beginning, but then all of a sudden you'll just fall in love.
That's right.
And you'll remember the pictures are there, the videos are there. Again, if when you walk through this and you say, I want that paw print, or I want to have them cremated and put in a box. I want some of the fur. I remember you took some of Nico's fur and had it in a bag for us. And I was like, yeah, these are the things that I need. I am going to say something else that they were able to do, and it was hard for me in the beginning to read these, but it's very, very beautiful. Let's see, who else? Yes, Pets at Rest, Hospice and Home Euthanasia LLC. Oh, that can help. Somebody must have been in and actually had your services that said that it was perfect. They can help you every step of the way. My comments keep going away. We're going back to the website. Some of the way, some of it. Gosh darn it! Look,
Technology is great until it's not.
It keeps going to your page. All right. Well, it's very, very touchy. Anyway, so Jill Elbers. So
yes.
Does she work with you?
No, but
or
has
she's
been a friend and client. Yes.
So she was just saying that, and I can't get it to go. Forget it. Never mind. Jill,
They can go to the post and read her comment.
Yes, please do. Terry says we've experienced having to euthanize our pet, our guinea pig. We decided to go through with it with our 14-year-old.
Yes.
Good work. And everyone's just saying thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm going to take that last final break, and then we're going to come back. So we're going to talk about one more thing that they do, give you all the information that you need either now or when you will need it at some point with your cat or dog. We always end either with Jesus Calling, or we can do 100 Days to Freedom. And I have these books that just organically became a part of the show. From fear and anxiety, which kind of would seem to make sense.
Yes.
From anger, from depression, from shame. We do overeating, but that one doesn't fit today. So shame, depression, anger, fear, or anxiety. You pick.
Fear and anxiety, because I think a lot of people have that when it comes to pet loss.
I agree. That one has picked itself.
Yes.
So we're going to wrap up with 100 Days to Freedom, and we're going to give you one more time all the information that you need. And I'm also just going to share one of the things that she did, and I'm sure you probably still do.
I do.
If they want. Okay. So we'll have more with Dr. Dawnetta when we return. Envita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Envita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Envita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Envita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment, or online envitahealthandwellness.com. Welcome back. We've had a beautiful hour with Dr. Dawnetta Woodruff, and we're talking about pets at rest. When it comes to that time, you have an incredible option now of not having it in an office, not even having it at your home, which is what I thought was beautiful, but now it's a whole nother level of being able to go into a space that feels like your home, the warmth of it, the smells of it, bringing your family, bringing the other animals when it comes time for hospice and the end of life. So what was being said, now that it's working for us, Dawnetta, they said that yes, that you can help in every step of the way, some of it over the phone, just like you were mentioning. So give them a call, Terry, and everybody else that you have any kind of questions. My hubby always said they have been a friend to you. Now you need to be a friend to them.
Oh, that's so good.
Such a great idea, Marilyn. Thank you so much. And thank you to Dr. D. So we were talking about 100 Days to Freedom, and this is the one that Dr. Dawnetta picked. From fear and anxiety. Change the story. God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but a power of love and self-discipline. That's from 2 Timothy 1, verse 7. So how do you describe yourself? Are you an extrovert, introvert, athletic, creative, shy? Who do you think you are, playing a big part in how you go about your life in the world? Well, you may be thinking of times you were told you were who you were by family and school friends, or worse, bullies. Other people sometimes give us identities that may be incorrect. If the story we tell ourselves about ourselves is inaccurate, we should begin to change it. If your story doesn't reflect what God says about you, it may be creating fear and anxieties in your life. So do you feel less than? Do you feel damaged or maybe too far gone to be fully loved and accepted by God and others? An old story that's on repeat in your head can keep you from living life the way God actually intended, which is to live it free. When fear and anxiety rule your thoughts, you need to recognize what your brain's actually telling you, and then recognize it isn't based in truth. God loves you, cares for you, has a purpose for your life. As you begin to put this on repeat, you'll begin to experience God's love, which will bring you peace of heart and mind. C.S. Lewis says, though our feelings come and go, his love for us does not. And who gave Mercy my address or told it how to get to my room without asking me my permission? A good God had come to my rescue. And the man who is not afraid to admit everything that he sees to be wrong with himself and yet recognizes that he may be the object of God's love precisely because of his shortcomings can begin to be sincere. His sincerity is based on confidence, not in his own illusions about himself, but in the endless, unfailing mercy of God. So we leave you with today's prayer. Thank you, God, for loving me. Help me to live and walk in your love for me and the power of your Holy Spirit. Amen to that. Again, trying to break you free of fear and anxiety and depression and shame and all those things. So we've been talking today about love for our fur babies. This is Dr. Dawnetta Woodruff once again. It's petsatrest.vet. Right. We're going to give you all the information, but the last thing that I mentioned that she does, and I remember the day after getting up without seeing the dogs there and not feeling their energy, and knowing what I put a thing out, obviously, on Facebook saying, this is what we had to do. And then that's when people started to hear about Dr. Dawnetta. But then all of a sudden, you put this beautiful tribute. Yep. I was like, oh my God, the tears are going to fall again. Do you still do that?
We do. Whenever I help a family, I mention to them and then I send them an email and say, hey, if you would like a little tribute on our Facebook page, send me a few photos. I'll make a collage and then I'll write a little bit about their life, just from what the family tells me during that time. It doesn't have to be anything formal. I just like to hear the stories because I think that's a beautiful way for me to learn about who that patient was. And they become a little bit more like my own family by hearing those stories. And I love to share it and just pay tribute to their memory.
Well, they're beautifully written. And I just remember when you did the first one and I wasn't expecting it. And then all of a sudden I said, Jim, she wasn't taking notes or anything. She literally felt like she knew Kaylee. And then you did with Kira and Nico and whoever you've helped in the last 18 years, and then especially the last 11 years, and then ever since spring when you launched this. I'm so proud of you. I'm super excited for all of the families that you're going to be able to help. And again, as I've said before, we don't want to think it's going to happen, but if it is something you're faced with, I just want you to know. So one more time, all the information that people need to know.
Yeah, so Pets at Rest, and it's petsatrest.vet, 314-334-8010, and our email is on the webpage as well. We are in Creve Coeur, beautiful little house, big tree out front, and I tell people, I'm like, it's not that I hope to see you, but when it's time, it will be an honor for me to help.
It is, and it's an honor to have her be a part of your life. She will be an angel in your life, trust me. I love what you do, and I'm so excited for all the people, all the families that you're going to be able to help moving forward.
Thank you.
I hope to see you out at an event.
Yes, on a good day.
I don't want to be calling you, but I know that you're
right.
always there in the event we need you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again, Dr. Dawnetta Woodruff, all the information that you need to know, petsatrest.vet. vet. God bless you all. Thank you so much for tuning in and day out. Remember to share and like and follow all these amazing interviews that we have here on Facebook and on YouTube when we stream live for you Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. And then remember, on Thursdays, we always drop a brand new show. So this will probably turn into one of our audio shows. So those go to all of the audio podcast platforms. Thank you for listening and thank you for watching. And as I tell you every morning, go out, attack that world, be anything that you want to be. But before anything, please be kind to one another. God bless you.